Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 243 of hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows. Typically, you feature beer of the week. Typically, I sound a lot better than I am right now. I'm talking into my mic, but for some reason, it's not connected to my laptop. My main computer's not working, and we're recording this on November 6th, so we'll just leave it at it's been that kind of a week as it is, right? But if you're new, please, by all means, this is a positive pop culture show, and do yourselves a
It
favor.
usually sounds good.
Usually sounds better. We just technical difficulties. It is what it is, I guess. Whatever, fine. I hate when technology doesn't work. That's like one of my big pet peeves. But please stick around, like, subscribe, share, follow, all of that good stuff. Hit the notification button so that way you never miss an episode. We come out weekly with episodes. This week's episode is going to wrap up Agatha All Along, that finished up last week with 2 episodes on Halloween Eve. And then we're going to kind of talk about Penguin and our predictions for the finale, so we can see kind of where we're at with some finale action of Penguin, which has been a fantastic show, mind you. Hopsgeek News is where you can find us. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews. Tomorrow night on November 12th, we are going to be doing our monthly Patreon watch-along party to Deadpool and Wolverine, which will be out on Disney Plus finally. Yeah. We owe it to Scott, and you know what? This one's for him.
Get your socks ready, nerds. It's
gonna
get good.
It is. Get in your Honda Odyssey, man, and come hang out with us, because that is what we are going to be doing. But my beer of the week comes from one of our patrons and friend, Patrick. He homebrewed. I honestly don't remember what it is that he sent me in the homebrew, but it's delicious. I really enjoy it. Got nice, dark, bold flavor for a nice wintry. It's not even winter, man. It was 81 degrees today. Who am I kidding? Climate change is happening. We're definitely going to be repealing all sorts of environmental protection. So you know what? What do I buy hoodies for anymore? I'm not going to need them in 5 years. But instead of spiraling, Lauren, I'm going to throw it to you. What are you drinking over there?
I'm drinking a homebrew from Patrick as well. It is an Oktoberfest. So it's very delicious. I have it in my Hopsgeek News Mickey Steenbach wheelie glass. I felt like this was good because for 2 reasons. So we're wrapping up Agatha, and we're going to talk about Penguin. So Agatha, witches, there's that urban legend that witches were actually brewers. Again, urban legend emphasis on there, that there's no real evidence of it, but I always loved that urban legend because it just made so much sense with the brooms, cleaning up the brewery, the cats keep the mice away, you have a giant cauldron you're brewing in, they wear the hats at the market so people can find them, kind of thing. I always just thought that was such a fun little twist on such a dark time. And what happens when, what got the mafia so big? Bootlegging alcohol. So there we go. And Patrick made this on his own. So I felt like it goes from witches all the way to the mobsters, and Penguin has been all about the mob, which I've been freaking loving.
I did not put that together. That's a really, good on you. I've done whatever the opposite of maximum effort is right now. That's what you're getting from me. I am sorry. But I am very excited. I finally bullied Lauren into watching and catching up on a Penguin.
You didn't bully me. I just needed to find the time. Yes, he forced me.
It's okay. I bullied you. But yeah, man, if you have not been here before, we typically go into what we've messed up on or looked into. If you hear something that we mess up on and you want to call us out, drop us a line, whether it's a DM, whether it's an email. We'd love to read it on air, man. We love fixing our mistakes. We go into what we've been reading or watching. We go into some news and then our main topic. We do not have what we've messed up on or looked into. Perfect little angels. But I'm going to save kind of what we did mess up on because that ties into like Agatha. We talked about predictions last week. If you caught that. Yeah. That's not really
none of my educated wishes came true.
Mine kind of did, which we'll talk about.
Surprisingly. But I did want to know about Nicholas Scratch, and we did learn about him, but that's about it.
Yes. I read this week Absolute Superman from DC. It's a very different take. I'm not the biggest Superman fan. I'm just not. I've never really got into the character. Something about him it doesn't suck me in like the Flash or Batman, Green Arrow, Aquaman, Wonder Woman kind of do, right? He's kind of the Boy Scout, but this one actually is really cool because the team, what they do is they take you to Krypton. They kind of show you like an alternative, like the scientists are like the gods of the Krypton world, and the workers are basically scum of Krypton. And his parents, Jor-El, and they were seen as a scum. They basically, for speaking their minds, they got ostracized as a society, which leads to Krypton's fall, because Jor-El was warning about basically what we warn about climate change, right? turns out he was right. Superman goes to Earth, and on Earth there are like they're peacemakers. They have the helmets and everything like that, but they're basically enslaving people to work in the mines. And so Superman has kind of been going country to country. No one knows who he is. He's very mysterious. He's been kind of trying to make these people's lives work in the mines better because it's all asbestos and things like that. So he is in a South American country. The workers go into the mine against their will, kind of, and that's where they already find like the mines, whatever they're mining is crushed up. They come out, they find out, hey, all but one worker is accounted for. There's no way you did it this fast. And enter Superman. He's got long hair. He's very handsome. His suit is really cool. It's glowing. The cuffs glow like a bright orange. His suit, he talks to his suit, so it's kind of interfaced like a Blue Beetle type thing, which I thought was really clever and cool. And at the core of Superman, I mean, he takes care of human beings. That's who he is. And so the essence of Superman is still there, but it's an alternative take on it. And I actually am I'm bought into this story. So I highly recommend the entire DC All In Absolute series right now. You should definitely be picking that up because I'm totally on board with what they're doing there. Next, another DC was Creature Commandos. David Dastmalchian is writing that one. It's a second issue. It's almost like a Suicide Squad, but it's horror based. And so you see like members of the team, they kind of go unleashed. Like Lucky's kind of unleashed in a flashback sequence, kills a team member. And so like the doctor carries the guilt with her. And so they're getting ready for this mission that's basically, has to save the Earth. And they, like, for example, one of them, the werewolf, she has to basically do this. That way her sister can go free and everything like that. So it's very good there. I really enjoyed that, getting us ready for the Creature Commandos TV series. And then last thing that I have read is Aliens versus Avengers, writer Jonathan Hickman. Dudes, if you love Prometheus, if you love Alien Covenant, very good chuckle out of the initial pages for me, because I know Lauren doesn't know what I'm talking about, but if you remember, there was certain Michael Fassbender character who basically...
Okay, I haven't seen the new ones.
Yeah, he killed all of the creators and engineers and things like that with the alien disease bacteria type thing. And so it opens like that. And essentially, like, they take that as the reason why the aliens come to Earth and wipe out Earth. Tony Stark kind of knew about it. He was at the Wayland Company playing possum. And then it actually ends like Captain America shows up. Hulk has some really good sequences in that. I don't want to spoil too much because this is...
Aren't they older too?
Oh yeah, they're old. Like Tony...
Okay, because I wrote the article on it months ago, like when they first announced it, and I didn't even...
Oh, we geriatric. Oh yeah, they geriatric. Iron Man's in a freaking wheelchair. Doesn't mean it stops him from being, Iron Man at times. And also Tony Stark...
Well, yeah, like a War Machine.
Has a plan. Yeah. You get some good looks at some War Machines in this, which is pretty cool. Captain Marvel, of course, Miles Morales, whose symbiote has bonded with a face hugger, so that's also an interesting aspect to it.
Oh, that is interesting.
There's a lot of good in this comic book, man. I think people are sleeping on this one. I recommend you don't sleep on it any further. There's 2 issues out, man. It's really quick. Go through it, read it. But then I did watch something. I'm on the season finale. I think it's the season finale, episode 8 of the show Hysteria on Peacock. And this show is awesome. It's like a horror show. It's about the Satanic Panic. It's set during that time in the 80s. This kid and his friends have like a metal band, and they basically trick their school into thinking they're part of the death cult to impress a girl and to also gain fans and followers and things like that. Kind of like Kiss. They put the makeup on, they do all this stuff. And then it turns out that like Bruce Campbell's in it. If you know him, he's Ash from Ash Evil Dead and all that kind of stuff. He's in it, and it turns out that there is some satanic activity happening. I think her name is Brittany. It's not Brittany Snow. I don't know. She's from Pitch Perfect. She's a mom in this, playing a religious nut, of course, because there's always a religious nut.
Oh, I could see her playing a religious nut very easily.
Yeah, I think it is Brittany Snow, maybe, but it's a very good show, man. Like, it sucks you in. It's like lighthearted, but also not, and there's like a mysteriousness to it. It's kind of like kind of Stranger Things, where there's like teenagers, but it's like kidnappings happen. It's very good.
Teenagers in a lot of things.
I know. But I highly recommend you go ahead and check that out on Peacock. It's 8 episodes. They're about an hour long. Very good. It's not like a quick watch where like 30 minutes and we're done. 8 episodes. No, you get your money's worth. 55
But does that have
minute
Kate
episodes.
McKinnon in it or no?
No, that's not Kate McKinnon. It's
She's in. I saw her in something else. There was a bunch of. I think they were pushing it at New York Comic Con, but they were pushing so many things and had so many posters. But I remember
right.
seeing Kate McKinnon on something and me thinking like, that's got to be a comedy because I've never seen her in anything serious.
No, so this is starring MJ Anthony. He plays the main character Dylan, who's like the lead singer and also falls the girl, kind of things like that. Anna Camp is the girl from Pitch Perfect playing in this movie. Sorry, or show. But Bruce Campbell's the other notable one. Nobody I really recognize from anything else except for I will say Dylan's mom. She is played by God, I can't remember her name. It's Julie Bowen, I think, is the
Oh,
actress.
from Modern Family.
Yeah, is that what she's from? She's from Happy Gilmore. So
Yeah,
she's
that's
in,
the same. That's
yeah.
the mom.
Oh, that is okay. Yeah, so
Mhm.
Happy. Oh yeah, she's in Hubie Halloween as well. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, same.
Yeah, she ends up
That's
like
her.
dating him.
Yeah, that's her. She plays Dylan's mom, who there's some stuff going on with her in this, and she's kind of like your typical suburban mom until some things go weird. So that's definitely worth the recommendation. Really, it's actually really well acted too, I thought. So check that out. That's what I got for you. Lauren, what do you got?
What do I have? So, what I did not see this weekend was Venom, but my daughter saw Venom, my 12-year-old, and it was funny
Oh,
because
I
she
haven't
just
seen it
wanted.
yet.
She got invited to the movies with a friend, and when she said she was going to see Venom, like that morning, I was like, "Venom, are you excited for
We
Venom?"
are Venom.
She's never seen one or two, and so she's looking at me like I'm crazy, and she's like, "Eddie," and I kept yelling like, "Eddie," and she's just looking at me, she's like, and I'm like, "That's the movie
Oh
you're
my
going to
god.
see."
You're literally
So,
gonna watch that entire sequence go down in Venom. Yeah.
yeah, so she did see it. She didn't really give me much aftermath, but I
Really?
just
We
thought
didn't
it
get
was.
anything like I thought for sure Brielle would give you something, or was it Kaylee?
You know what? I might have just not because I went to bed at like 8 o'clock Saturday because I had the half marathon, and then I fell
That's
asleep at like
right.
7 o'clock Sunday. I slept for like 10 hours Sunday night.
Yeah.
So maybe I just haven't really had the proper time to ask her. It's been a whirlwind of shit the last
You
6
know it
weeks.
really has.
So,
Ooh.
what I don't even I feel like I watched something. I can't remember. I watched the Game. Okay, so what did I read? So this week for Nerd Initiative, I reviewed X Factor #4. And so I hadn't read 1 or 3. So I read 1 or 3 and then I reviewed 4. Written by Mark Russell, the pencilers Robert Wynn, cover artist Greg Land. This is so much fun. I was not
Ooh,
expecting this.
really?
I was expecting it to be similar to X-Men. I was expecting it to be serious. So Krakoa has fallen, and that is happening in a bunch of the Marvel comics right now, the X-Men related, comics and mutants and whatnot. And so Krakoa is gone. So all the mutants are having to adapt into humanity, and of course that never goes great. So this team X Factor has been created. However, it's kind of like The Boys because
Oh.
yes, it's like a PG version of The Boys though, because it's not getting like, oh, but it's funny. And like the guy who runs it is on an all corn dog diet. And
Oh, my
he
kind of guy. I
even
don't like corn
admitted
dogs.
that he cares more about their popularity and their numbers than he does about their safety. And they have to wear like pins that are recording so that they can live stream. And like you
Oh.
see in one mission that like nobody died on this specific mission, and people are like, "Oh man, nobody even died." So the X Factor in issue 4 isn't even the same X Factor as issue 1 because they all almost died in issue 1. So you got some familiar faces. I've seen Fire Fist, I've seen Angel. Havoc is now the leader of X
Oh, no way.
Factor, but there's more going on too. There's like Havoc doesn't know if he should be doing this and try to make good from the inside or if he should get out of it. And like, he knows it's not fully kosher. So there's a lot going on, but it's a way more fun than I expected.
Huh.
And so
I
I'm really
never, that's interesting for an X-Men story. I've never would have thought they kind of would have had something like this.
well, it's X Factor, not X Men, but it's still mutants.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I just
But
lump
it's not
mutants and
like
X-Men. I'm part of the problem.
if you've read the older ones, I don't think it's anything like that. It's really good, honestly. I feel like describing it as the PG version of The Boys is the best description, I think.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. Well, that's cool. How did your half marathon? You did the wine and dine half marathon. How you survived?
I
Kind
survived.
of.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. No,
slept all day, but
it was good. Well, you got to wake up early for those things, and I woke up at 1:30, which was actually 2:30 on accident. I didn't need to wake up till
oh, can we
3:15.
get rid of fucking daylight savings time? Like, I don't care if I'm driving into work and it's light out. I'd rather it not feel like the middle of the night when I get home from
Well,
work and I'm already depressed from a long day at work.
at first I was thinking like, "Yay, what a great day to have an extra hour because I have to be at the race."
True.
The race starts at 5. I live 30 minutes from Epcot. I know there's not gonna be traffic. I
You
checked the
didn't
road
get your
closures
own
the night
suite.
before. So, well, I did get my own sleep. Josh slept on the couch,
No. Oh,
so that I could have the bed to myself,
what a
and
guy.
I
Could have
didn't
two
wake
king
up to
size beds
snoring
like
or
some of
anything.
us, but
Well, but he would have been snoring too. So
that's true. Okay.
you know,
Right.
I took a melatonin for the first time ever, fell asleep
Oh,
pretty quick.
were you just
Um,
tripping out, man? We like, whoa,
no,
this
not at all.
melatonin's kicking my
It
ass.
was a children's melatonin, and it said to take 2 if I was over the age of
Whoa, I'm
4,
not
and I only
driving.
took 1. So,
Well, no wonder you woke
um,
up at 1:30. It didn't work.
I literally bought them for Europe so the kids could
Oh,
fall
yeah,
asleep.
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
actually, I bought them for the first time when we were driving to you because the kids were gonna be sleeping in the car
Oh
overnight.
yeah,
And Brielle took one there, and then Brielle took one on the plane, and that's
she
it. So I
did.
have this whole thing of these melatonin gummies. So I tried that. I did fall asleep quick, but I
Are
woke
you
up because when
addicted?
you're waking up early, you can't stay asleep. You like wake up and you're
No.
like, oh my god, it's
Especially
time to sleep.
so, especially when I know I have something going on, I'm very an anxious person. Like it's the ADHD in me. You know you have something going on, so you're kind of frozen to that. Like I have something to do this afternoon, so that's all I think about and all I'm just like focused on the whole day. So I can't do anything else. If I have a flight in the morning, I can't sleep because I know we have to be up, we have to get there, all that stuff. So I get it. Yeah.
Right. I had the same thing when I flew to New York a few weeks before. Josh comes in to make sure I'm awake. Again, he let me have the room to my because he knows I'm not the
What
best
a
at sleeping,
guy.
and he's a really loud snorer, and I think he really likes sleeping on the recliner. Um,
Uh,
But,
psychopaths.
so I have overslept for a race before and almost missed one before, and my Josh wasn't in town, that's probably why, because he's really good at waking me up, and Logan, I had to stay home because Logan was still nursing, and I woke up in a panic, ran into
Mm.
the guest room to wake my mom up. I got to Epcot in 25 minutes, and, like, you've been to my probably closer to 20 minutes, and, like,
Oh yeah.
it's a good 35 minutes without traffic, so I have overslept, but I did make that race. I've also locked my keys in the car before a race, but, I met a great
Jeez.
locksmith.
Well, I mean,
Nobody should be
you
doing
locked them before
anything.
the race. Like, okay, I
Yes.
was gonna say, like, what
And then
if
I
you
told
just lock them in the car? You'll worry about it after the race. That's kind of where my mind was at. I was like,
now
who
I prepare everything the
cares?
day before. I even had my car key inside my shorts with the zipper, like, ready to go the night before.
That's my biggest
Uh,
fear, right? They fall out of your
yeah.
something or anything while you're running actively until you have to look all over the place for them. Yeah,
Or
that's
God
terrifying.
forbid you're in one of those porta potties and it falls out. So when I
Ooh.
locked my keys in the car, I went up to the cast member and I was like, "Hey, I locked my keys in the car, She's like, "Well, is your car secure?" I'm like, "Well, I can't get into it." She's like, "We'll just deal with it after the race." I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
All right.
So I
Well,
did make it to this race on time, had plenty of time. It was warm, so that was great when we got there because
oh,
my least favorite part of a Disney run is standing in the parking lot freezing for an hour waiting for your corral to start.
okay, that's fair because you're standing around, so you're obviously not running, doing anything. You don't want to like jog in place too much because you get kind of your legs tired already. So
Well, and there's just like you just can't get warm enough. Like last one I did was in January and it was 40 degrees. However, here's the thing. Well, one, if you have a jacket you want to get rid of, like I pack towels that we use as like rags that I was just going to throw to the side. They pick them up and they donate that stuff. So it's actually
oh,
kind of cool. And they even have bins like dump your jacket in here. But so
that's
the first
cool.
half of the race, the first 6 miles were all through Epcot and Hollywood Studios and Boardwalk. It was all parks and it was dark. So it was great. But then as soon as the sun came up, we were out of the parks and it was hot and it was very humid. And as much as I love the heat, it's so much harder to run in. So
Oh, 100%.
this was much more difficult than the last half I did. I also think that I didn't train as much and I ran again today. I only did 2 miles today, which was 3 days after the run, and now my left foot is starting to hurt again on
Oh
top of
no.
it. So that's why, like, if you see me, like, I keep like putting my foot out to elevate it
Come on, no
crap.
free feet videos, all right? Jesus Christ. We're
But
a
it was
family show.
anyone who's a runner, they're a lot of fun. The expos are a lot of fun. They're incredibly expensive. They're hard to get, but they keep me motivated to run.
I do, I have grown to really like I've always not minded running. I like doing races, I think now because it's another motivation tool to keep you running right. But I've found that it really brings me some inner peace, oddly enough, too. Except for when I'm running through the woods and I'm like, oh God, branch. I can't like zone out because I'm too focused on the stupid branches or whatever's in front of me. But races are fun. They inner
Yeah, well,
peace.
and somehow I convinced Erica to be my Deadpool and I was Wolverine, and
It was amazing.
ran with my niece, who she's 18 and
Yeah,
this is her first half, and Jossie kicked ass. She lifts, and so
she's a
this
cross
girl
country
is
runner, isn't she?
yes, she's a cross country
Yeah.
runner,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
this was the longest she's ever done, but she is like such big muscles. She's so
I know you
freaking
guys had that
strong.
picture you flexing. I was like, God dang, she should have been like Wolverine.
She was so excited with Gaston. It was so funny because I was like, "Are we flexing?" And Gaston goes, "Of course we're flexing." And then as we were leaving, Gaston complimented her muscles. She goes, "Okay, I'm done." Gaston complimented my muscles. I'm good. So Jossie was
That's
adorable
amazing.
and she did amazing. So that was her graduation 18, turned 18 present
That's awesome.
from Josh and I, and she loved it. Yep, we had a great time.
That's what it's all about. Those are fun. Well, let's go into some news real quick. I do want to start off with some news that I didn't write down because I was scrolling the interwebs and found out that there is a Comic-Con in Massachusetts the weekend I'm home for Thanksgiving. It's actually November 29th to December
That's
1st.
interesting to have a con the
It's
weekend of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a New England Comic Cons. It's going to be in Boxborough, Massachusetts, November 29th to December 1st. Brian put November 24th to 20, or their Twitter says November 24th to 26th. Brian put 29th to 1st. I'll have to see. Either way, if I
My
make it over
money would be
there,
the weekend before Thanksgiving.
me too. Boxborough, it's at the Regency Hotel. Boxborough's not a bad place. I used to play basketball. We used to play against them in basketball and stuff like that. Kind of a nice, decent town. I might pop over there if it is the weekend I am, in fact, there and go say what's up to our boy Brian. Actually, I'd probably get there Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, I might be able to say hi. Neither here nor there. But Lauren, you do have some beer news this week, and the unfortunateness of beer news. What's going on with Wicked Weed?
So Wicked Weed Funkatorium is in Asheville, and they've been closed thanks to Hurricane Helene for a while now. They were supposed to be reopening in November. However, unfortunately, they came in and told all the employees they're basically laid off. So it sounds like that
What are we
place is
doing?
closed. It was very interesting. I mean, I know I can't even imagine the full extent of the damage that Helene did to Asheville and did to the beer community there. But Funkatorium, like even when they sold to InBev, that was still one of the places everybody always recommended. Like if you're going
Yeah,
to Asheville, you have to go here. And so
yeah.
it's, really kind of
It's kind of
sad
like
to see
the
that.
a big beer hub because they've got Sierra Nevada in New Belgium, and
Yeah.
Wicked Weed was there too. So
Burial,
this, yeah,
Dissolver,
I mean Burial there, like as far as
Highwire,
independent, yeah, they have a
Green
lot
Man.
of good stuff there. Like their breweries, and not every brewery is closed, but it's very interesting that Wicked Weed, who again we were buying their beers and drinking them MegaCon weekend this year, is
Yeah, oh
closing
yeah.
down. Like that's and I feel
Well, it's
for
just their
everybody,
Funkatorium, so they have more than one location, but still,
right?
that
But I
was like
mean,
the one you go to in Asheville. I don't know.
what if you just lost your house and now you come in to find out that, oh, hey, by the way, we're closing this. You don't have a job anymore. Like, what? That
Yeah,
sucks.
that's especially because
Um,
it sounded like in the article I read that they kept telling them, like, you guys are going to have a job. You're going to come back to a job.
right. That was the whole plan. Everything I'd seen, there was no plans for these places to, like, the smaller breweries are probably never going to reopen if they got destroyed. But like the bigger ones, you would expect they'd have money to. That sucks. I do have some more beer news actually that Patrick shared in our Discord. After 157 years, Chippewa Falls Line and Kugel's brewery will actually be closing. Molson Coors plans to close two of its breweries in Wisconsin, which one of those includes the Line and Kugel Brewery in Chippewa Falls. According to Jacob Line and Kugel Brewing Company president Dick Line and Kugel said none of his family members were made aware of the decision prior to the announcement. So again, more surprise in the beer industry, right? And according to Molson Coors' statement, that while the Line Lodge and its pilot brewery will remain open year-round, the Chippewa Falls brewing operation will cease. So no idea. That kind of sucks. It's been a major facet of the city for more than 150 years. Like this is just like history at this point, right? Like
Yeah.
you're talking 1800s. Like beer almost at its beginning in America, as it first began operations in 1867.
Commercial beer. Like
Yeah,
George
like that.
Washington was brewing in the 1700s.
No, dude, they were drinking beers doing the Constitution, right? But I'm talking
Right.
like
Doing the Constitution.
they were
Writing
doing
the
the Constitution.
Constitution. Yeah.
They was doing the Constitution in
At
the
a pub.
pubs, all right, you know. It employs about 120 people, produces about 185,000 barrels of beer annually. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Again, the beer industry is really hit hard right now. Whether you drink or not, man, like there's still fun places to go to, unless obviously you can't be around it for whatever reason. Which there's no hate here, but breweries. Lauren and I obviously love going to breweries on the show. It's a fun experience for the most part, and you just kind of hang out, have a good time. Music might be playing, trivia, whatever it is. So to see like a staple, that's like if Yingling closed. Imagine
Or
Yingling.
Anchor. What's going on with
Yeah,
them?
yeah. Or you know what I'm saying, like Yingling in Hershey, Pennsylvania. If that closed down, that's huge. Like that's a staple of
It's
that's
America's
America's
oldest
first
brewery
brewery.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are we doing? So it sucks.
It does
Uh,
suck. It's very
but we
shitty.
got one more piece of news that maybe will cheer some people up. MegaCon news.
Speaking of MegaCon, just a couple updates. I told you we're going to keep you updated weekly because I want everybody to come to MegaCon. So Millie Bobby Brown and Joseph Quinn will both be there. So those are two Stranger Things people. We also have Priscilla Presley. I'm not really sure how that came about. They put in
Yeah,
when
what
they,
is she doing there?
I don't know, but when they posted it, they said she was from Dallas and Naked Gun. I mean, the first thing you think of is Elvis's daughter
Do
or
you ever
Michael
look at
Jackson's
something and just
ex-wife.
wonder how it got there? Like that's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, last year when they had Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, I was kind of like, well, that's odd for a Comic Con too. But you know, a lot of people bought those photo ops and whatnot.
Oh, people were all about it. That was kind of like unexpected. People loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing they announced is the cast of The Breakfast Club because
Oh, that's
it's
exciting.
their 40th anniversary, so it'll be Anarchy. So you
All
have Molly
right.
Ringwald, Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall, and Ali Sheedy will all be there.
Are we taking bets on which comic creator we're going to get to panel for during the breakfast panel, the Breakfast Club panel? Can't wait for that one. It's going to be Marvel this time. Or no, actually, they did Marvel and DC at the same. Who
I feel like
knows?
Back to the Future is definitely more popular though than
I
Breakfast
don't know.
Club.
I feel like I would love to see the size of the crowd there at Breakfast Club because I feel like there's going to be a lot more people there than you'd think, especially like Molly Ringwald there. I've not really, maybe I just haven't seen her at any of the cons I've been to, but I've not really ever
I've
seen
never
her
seen.
listed as a guest at a Comic Con. So
No,
again,
me
that's like
neither.
another testament to like where we are as a con culture. Molly Ringwald showing up at Comic Cons now. Judd Nelson, interesting.
I mean, I quote Breakfast Club pretty fairly
Yeah,
often to the kids. I'm always like, 2 weeks, I gotcha. Or, you know, would you, if you get up, we'll all get up. It'll
Anthony
be
Michael Hall's at like
anarchy.
every Comic Con ever, so I've seen him always there. Mainly, you remember him from Evil Dies Tonight,
I mainly remember him from Breakfast Club.
right? But the younger crowd, you know, for you 15 to
Crowd.
25-year-olds who might listen to us, there's like one of you, Riley.
I had
Anthony
Breakfast Club
Michael
on
Hall
VHS.
started in the Breakfast Club before he
He
was
was
out there in the
a
streets of Haddonfield yelling "Evil Dies Tonight."
Oh, right. So he was one, like, I don't think, like, he's not by any means, shape, or form anywhere near close to my list, but he had a definite glow up. Like, he went from, like, the quote unquote nerd in every movie to, like, filling out.
Really?
Like, he was a nerd in all these movies in the 80s.
He
And then,
filled
like, he
out.
doesn't look
I've
anything, I
only
think,
seen.
like
You think
his
now he looks like a daddy?
no, I don't think he looks like a daddy at all. I just
What
think
about
that
his
he had a
daddy?
glow up for what he started out as.
I thought he was cute. As a nerd, he's kind of like a cute little nerd. What's wrong? I don't know. I maybe haven't seen him in his middle years. I've seen him old and I've seen him young. Who knows? But while we debate,
Was he the dick
um,
in Edward Scissorhands?
I don't remember.
I think that might have been because he had like a quick transition where he was like the skinny little nerd, and all of a sudden he was like not. I'm right on top of that, Rose. Go ahead.
Well, while we debate whether or not he was in this, that, if he's a daddy, if he's not,
He's not a daddy.
we are going to go ahead and transition into Agatha All Along, our post-show wrap-up of what we thought about the series, and then we're going to talk about some Penguin pre-finale extravaganza, if you will. So, if you want any comic book origin, we did do episodes for both of these characters in September. So you can go back and look at that. Maybe I'll post the links for those specific episodes in the show notes if I'm feeling generous or if I just don't forget. We'll be back in just a moment.
He was a jerk in Edward Scissorhands. So he went from being like this tiny little skinny nerdy kid in like
Look what
Breakfast
you
Club
did, you
to
little
very
jerk.
quickly being this like he just like filled out, but he looks like a different kid. I guess puberty just hits different
Good
people.
for
Different.
You. Good
But no,
for you, darling.
he's no Zaddy. He's no Josh Hartnett.
No, dude,
Okay.
Josh Hartnett. Anyways, you got to watch 30 Days a Night. We'll see you in just a minute with some Agatha wrap up.
I started it.
What, 30 Days a Night? Oh, exciting, thrilling. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are going to go down the long, the windy, the made up, which is road. All
Isn't
right.
everything made up? Everything's made up.
Words are made up.
It's all made up.
Okay. Words are made up.
And you know what? Billy was named after William Shakespeare, and William Shakespeare made up many words.
Son of a gun. Yeah. So we are going to go ahead and talk about that. If you haven't watched Agatha, maybe do yourselves a favor. Don't stick around unless you don't care about spoilers. But we're going to talk about our thoughts, all that good stuff. Initial thoughts. Lauren, why don't you start us off with like your just initial thoughts, broad initial overview and thoughts of the. Oh, hold on. Actually, time out. I got to talk about real quick. We were kind of right. Do you want to do what the predictions? We thought Mephisto would show up. We thought
Deadpool was going to show up.
No,
I didn't
Lauren
think
thought
Deadpool was
going to show up.
to.
I thought Wanda might have made an appearance.
It was an educated wish. Wanda, you heard her voice, and I loved that. We heard her when Billy, I think, was searching for Tommy, or there was, I think, in episode 8, you heard Wanda say, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mom," and you heard Vision.
Yeah, I do remember
helping
that
him remember those. So I love that we heard. Right. Yeah, I love that we heard those voices.
Yes,
because it makes it more connected. It makes it more,
Well, it does. Like, this connects to WandaVision. These are her kids.
Yeah,
my kids. So I also did I thought there was going to be like a fight between like Nicholas Scratch and Billy to see who gets to stay with whomever. Agatha would sacrifice Billy, so I was kind of right there. There's a lot of things that I thought would happen was kind of right. Lauren thought Deadpool was showing up, so I can't say. But you know what? One person's win. One of us wins on this podcast. We both win. So I'm going to go ahead and just say it. We both got this kind of right. So anyways, I'm sorry. Why don't you go ahead with your initial thoughts about the season?
It was terrible because Deadpool didn't show up.
Ah, damn it.
No, I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I kind of want to go back and rewatch it all together because it was such little teases.
All together now. I do. But yeah, that's actually a good point.
There is so much foreshadowing, and there's so many little things that I didn't even pick up that I've watched on videos, or Screen Crush is one of the great ones with Ryan Airy that does all the Easter eggs. So I watched a couple of those on YouTube, and the stuff that he points out, and granted he has a team, and granted he watches it more than once, but it's amazing the things they pick out and the things they say. Somebody was saying no, the Witch's Road song goes like this. And Agatha's no, it says two, two. And she holds up two because she's referring to her and Nicholas because they made up the song and they were.
Yeah, that was a cool surprise. Was it not? She literally made up the song.
Cool. Yeah. So it's those little things, with how detail oriented this show was, it's absolutely amazing. And I think those are the type of the shows that are just so much fun to rewatch because you're going to pick
in the details.
So much more. Yes. So I do think that they did leave us with questions that I'm hopeful that they will eventually answer. Obviously, they left it on, a cliffhanger with "Let's go find Tommy," but also there was no end credit scene. So I was anticipating.
I was weird about that too. That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they feel after what Deadpool said, this isn't going to be a commercial for another movie or a show. Maybe they're kind of holding on to that, or maybe they realize they can't keep doing that if they're not going to actually.
Well, they're going to keep
follow through.
So-and-so will return. And by that time, we're, retirees in the geriatric home.
Whatever colony we're in
after the climate wars. But yeah, I think this one will, because I talked about how I really hoped Agatha would be the one to train Billy. And she's a ghost. So she spends a lot of her time in the comic books as a ghost, actually. A lot of people might not know that. So I thought that's pretty cool as well. And also, I don't think this is the last we're going to see of Jennifer Kale, played by Sashir Zamata, because if you know, she's related to Ghost Rider in the comics as well, who is hopefully somebody that we're going to get at some point.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I think she's his cousin in the comic books. Yeah, so she flies off at the end of this on a broom. She's gone. I thought it was really cool.
She flies off like Wanda.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. I was stuck on a broom. You're right.
There was no sound. I don't know why I made a sound.
It was a cool sound effect. Thank you. Got the vibe. So it was episode 7 where they were sitting in that room and they basically had to get, ask and find the thing that they were searching for. It was a very powerful scene where Jen let go. She says, "You hold no power over me anymore," essentially to Wanda, which I thought was really cool. And then she disappears. But did you get the vibe that I thought there was going to be some X-Men appearances there?
No.
You didn't think that was like a Professor Xavier looking lab room at all? Like a beast lab room? I thought for
I just thought it
sure.
was like a morgue in her basement, and Agatha even
Oh,
said, "We're in my basement," kind of, because
oh,
at
it
that
was a
point, like,
morgue,
she knew
yeah.
it was all bullshit, so Billy was creating things with what he had. It's like Wanda didn't
Right.
make Westview from complete scratch, she
Well,
converted
that was
things.
really cool how she basically alluded to that the whole thing was made up, kind of knowing that he made up the witch's road, which we didn't know at the time. But once all is said and done, you're in his room and he just casually after. So there's this cool fight I thought was really cool. Like Rio was never outright the bad guy.
No, I
She was
don't think
doing
she's
her
a bad guy at
job.
all. If anything, I think that she even said to Agatha, like, nobody's gotten special treatment like you." And, like, Nicholas Scratch was supposed to die in childbirth, like, he was not supposed to survive. She gave them 6 years that Agatha wasn't supposed to
Well,
get.
she kept
But I
sacrificing witches too.
Right.
As like a like here, I'm giving you bodies so that way I get time with my son. And then it's really dirty that she took him in her sleep. Like she said, make sure you say
No,
goodbye
that's
to your mom. And like,
yeah,
okay, bye.
but that's
That was crazy.
a kind thing to do to take somebody in their sleep,
But
but it also seemed like he knew her, and, like, when Agatha and I said this, I think last week too,
mhm.
that, or maybe I don't remember when the hell I
I think it
said
was
it.
in the Discord. You mentioned the my love thing.
Yes, she was in
You,
labor, and she looked at her with admiration and my love and begging, so clearly there was a relationship before, and she said, "I made you from scratch, that there were no spells," so it's like, is Death the parent of Nicholas? Is that why
that's a
Nicholas
good.
couldn't live? So it's like I feel like there's still more and like Nicholas is not a great person in the comics, but
Right.
he seemed like nothing but a sweet innocent kid. And I do wonder with the like her not being able to face him if we're assuming she's talking about Nicholas, if it's because Nicholas will then find out that all those people had to die to keep him alive. And I feel like it's like a Sam Winchester kind of thing like, I
Mhm.
don't want these people to die to keep me alive, but Dean's willing to kill whoever to keep Sammy alive kind of thing.
Well, I think that makes sense. It would have been interesting because I'm curious because he was young. Like he basically was like, why did all these witches have to keep dying? And she didn't really give an answer, of course, right? But they traversed till I thought the whole like montage sequence of her singing Witches Road throughout like the
I love
generations and thing,
that.
like
The
that was super
outfits,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, and she was taking all
of
their
the
powers and
90s.
stuff.
Mhm.
But it's also like a test. So Agatha took all of these witches' powers, and then Wanda was able to like defeat her kind of easily, which I thought is a testament to just how much power Wanda has at the same
Well, 'cause
time.
she's the Scarlet Witch. She was I mean, Wanda was an
Yeah,
urban legend.
yeah, that's
They
true.
were waiting for her.
And so I thought that was really cool. That whole battle sequence, like when Wiccan flies in, I thought people were complaining about how he looked. I thought the suit
Dude, he was,
translated
like,
cool.
spot on comic book. I thought he looked
That's what I'm saying.
fantastic.
Yeah, I thought the
I
suit was really
loved it.
cool. I loved his blue, like the blue light for his powers. I thought for sure like Agatha was going to sacrifice him in some way, which she just about did because Rio couldn't take him without, uh, you know, him giving himself up. He had because it wouldn't work. He would just find a new host essentially. And it was also weird because he manifested that whole sequence was really kind of crazy that Tommy was kind of out there and he really had to search for a body to put Tommy and he doesn't know where he is, but basically like it was kind of tragic where a young boy was drowned by bullies.
But he asked, "Am I killing this kid for Tommy?" And Agatha said, "No." So
Yeah,
this
she
was, like
was
just like
all boys die or some
William
people die sometimes. Is that what she said or
although
something like that?
yeah, she was saying something like, so and so many people die every" oh, she said kids die, something like that, because
Yeah.
Nicholas died.
Yeah, like
And
that
when
and it
she
was
said that, I was
sad.
like, "Oh, that's so" yeah, that was clearly a nod to, like yeah, kids
Yeah.
die all the time. So, obviously, she's not okay with that because she lost her son, but it's interesting too, that I mean, Wanda caused William to die,
Oh
which
yeah.
inevitably in a way,
Wanda
saved
did?
Billy. Yeah, because they died because of the
Oh,
accident when
sorry.
the hex was
I was thinking
expanding.
Scrat Nicholas for some reason in my head. Sorry, you're
Oh,
right.
yes,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah,
Yes,
so
she
the
did.
yeah.
That's
So
a
it's
that's a good
all
detail. I actually didn't pick up on that she kind of caused him to die. That is a good detail because I didn't put that two and two together. I was like, oh, he was dying and somehow he found his way into the body. But that's
right, he
actually
probably
makes it
wouldn't have
even
died if
crazier.
his mom hadn't been distracted or dad or whoever was driving with the
Oh,
hex expanding.
that's great. Oh, that's right. Okay. I was thinking she like found the body or something, but she was searching for them, the lost. Okay, that makes sense. But I thought the whole thing with Rio was cool. But yeah,
See, that's
Rio
why she
wasn't.
can still sense them.
Oh
Like, I always thought when
yeah.
she heard them yelling because you know how you hear that Wanda hears them yelling in the end credits scene in WandaVision, like, Mom, help us. But then you hear them saying that in Multiverse of Madness, and I just assumed it was her hearing them in a dream from another universe with other Tommy and Billies. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was them looking for bodies. Or them in limbo.
That's even cooler in like a dark, twisted way. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. That's actually a really good point. I didn't
But
think
I don't
about
think
that.
that Wanda would have ever done what she did if she knew her kids were going to be in limbo like that.
No, I mean, I don't think so either. And then people are
She
like,
thought
did
just
she
she was
manifest her kids? Yeah,
sacrificing.
she did that in the comics. Like her
Mhm.
kids are a manifestation of like Mephisto and things like that in the comics. So yeah, I mean that's pretty in line. Like this show is actually pretty in line with comic accurate origins. And again, Agatha spends a lot of time in comic books as a ghost, which I thought
Mhm.
was really interesting when she sacrificed herself. And I thought she was coming back in some manner because in episode 7 she dies, and you're like, no, that's not the end of Agatha, but it really
Or 8.
was.
8 was the morgue one.
Oh yeah, because then episode 9, right? Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, because there's 9
It's
episodes or 8.
confusing. Yeah, it was 9 episodes, so we saw
Okay,
8 and
the
9 last
episode
year.
before the last one, okay,
The
she dies.
Pentultimate.
And it's also tragic because she turns into like a bed of flowers, and so
That was
that was
cool, and we just
really
immediately see
cool.
her body, like, become one with the earth and then sprout this, like, gorgeous
Yeah.
flower bed.
It was like beautiful in a really tragic kind of way. And then, he just hops in his car and drives home while the poor residents of Westview, like, is it happening again? And they're just like, I don't know. These poor
I loved
people.
that, though. I loved that. Again, just
But
connecting it to
well, they
WandaVision.
brought those people back and they kept using them. That poor dude was just
Mhm.
looking up at the sky too. I was just like, yeah, man.
Time to move, guys.
I was thinking, I was like, are these guys gonna move? Like, I would have been out after
You
the
know
hex, first of all.
one of the things we never actually learned, okay, so Ralph Boner, I loved that he was in WandaVision. I was very
Yeah.
happy they brought him back. Whether or not they're gonna give him speed powers again or what, or actually make
I
him some
think he
sort
was
of
just like, that's
a
him. I
throwaway.
think that's
I
it.
do
Yeah.
think that was it too. I think they wanted it to be somebody that we recognized as it being recast as Quicksilver, so I think it was a fun little nod. However, wasn't he the person that they were looking for that was in witness protection? That's why Jimmy Woo
Yes.
was there? So they
Yes.
never explained why he was in witness protection, and then he was complaining that, like, he was, now
He's
he's
on
upside
Reddit and
down in his
everything.
house or something, and, like, he's having all these other issues, but, like, they're not protecting him anymore, and
Jimmy
I
Woo
don't
said, "That's old
know.
news, buddy. I got bigger fish to fry now. I don't know." Because
But why
that's
was
right. He
he in
was in
witness
witness
protection?
protection. I don't know. We'll
We
never
may
get that
never
answer.
know.
He was on Reddit. That's
Maybe
all we
he was
know.
gonna testify against Wilson Fisk. I
Maybe.
don't know.
I don't know, man. It's just kind of crazy that a guy who is a convicted felon is going to be running for mayor of New York City and probably get
Okay,
elected. Like, I can't imagine that actually would happen in real life.
it's
Can you?
batshit
Like,
crazy.
who? I wonder who's going to be our version of Daredevil in real life. Can you be your hero, baby? Uh,
A
yeah.
blind attorney
Anyways,
from Hell's Kitchen.
oh man, I at
Okay.
first was kind of like disappointed that they didn't find Tommy, but it makes sense that he doesn't know where Tommy's at. So I think in Vision Quest they already kind of confirmed that they're going to basically Vision and Billy are going to be looking for Tommy. Is kind of the confirmation we got. So I assume we're probably going to get Agatha's ghost back in this too, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope so. The way they left it, there's no way that we're done with Catherine Hahn,
She's
and
following
obviously
Billy
we're not
around
done with
teaching him.
Wiccan.
There's no way.
Yeah, which I think is fantastic. Uh, one of the things though that, like, I don't understand that I hope we do find out is why was she okay with everybody thinking she traded her baby for the Darkhold?
She had a reputation to uphold, I guess, because if people think you did that, then they don't
And
want to mess with
she
you. I don't know.
she saw that vision where the Darkhold was in the cradle. I thought that that was very
Oh
interesting, and
yeah.
why would that vision bother her if that's not what actually happened? So I feel like there's more to that. We don't know how she got the Darkhold. Obviously, she doesn't have it
Yeah,
anymore
they
because
didn't
Wanda
answer
destroyed
that
it,
one at all.
but
Interesting.
she's not tainted by the Darkhold anymore, but she's definitely not innocent or
Right.
the Book of the
Huh.
Damned. Yeah.
I don't know. They never really did explain that. Um, it's interesting that like everybody is essentially dead. That kind of sucks. Deaths are deaths. The final.
But I loved that she was trying to make Billy feel better. He's like, "Did I kill them?" And she goes, "Well, technically you saved Jennifer because I was going to kill all of you."
Oh yeah, that's right. She was going to take their powers and kill them in
So
the basement.
I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like she was like comforting him
What a glass half full
in
kind
a
of mentality
way.
right there. Is my powers half full? And I thought it was cool. Like even Billy gave her some of that. He's like, don't take all of it. And he gave her some of the
Yeah.
powers. And for a second there, you're like, oh, she is going to take all of it the way
Like
she was
Agatha
looking at
stuff.
him. Yeah, I was in my head. I'm like, stop, stop, stop. Okay, I said enough.
Because
So that was
clearly,
really
yeah,
cool
once
too.
you, I guess, let go, then she can take
She
over.
just
But
takes
I
and
love
takes and
that
takes.
too, when he said, "Don't take it all." I love that.
And we got that cool little team up action that was, not for nothing. And then in the end, yeah, Rio is just like Rio hates ghosts, but I thought it was really cool. And then she didn't know that Agatha didn't realize that she had bound Jen and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of details in this season, and I want more because I feel like this was a return to like a really good Marvel television. Where would you put this on your rankings for Marvel?
I don't know. Just Marvel TV or
Yeah,
Marvel?
Marvel TV. Like, where would you
But
rank
are
it?
you
Because
including Daredevil? Is this just Disney Plus, or are
no,
you
well,
including
Daredevil
Netflix?
hasn't
Are you
started
including
yet.
AB?
No, I'm
No,
not
I'm
including.
saying
No,
so
no,
not including Netflix, not including
things that are
ABC, not
actually
including ABC Family, not including
no,
Hulu.
no. I'm talking like
Okay.
WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Secret
Ooh,
Invasion,
well,
you
Secret Invasion's
know,
last.
yeah, obviously.
I
But
mean,
Attack by the
WandaVision's
Coast,
definitely my favorite. This is probably my second favorite to WandaVision. Yeah.
That's fair. I was gonna probably actually kind of go there. My top three obviously are WandaVision, and then it goes Agatha, and then Loki. Right? I mean, those are the
Oh,
top three
Loki.
shows, hands down, right there.
I
But
almost
so
put
I
this
was
one
really
over Hawkeye.
surprised with this special shout out to Werewolf by Night because I would love to get, dude. What if they did like a cool Halloween special with Agatha or something like that next year? I feel like we could really go back into these special presentations. That would be so much fun.
We're getting zombies next October.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're not going to do that then. You're right. We are getting zombies. That fits. I'll take it. But what if we get some sort of special presentations? Like, what if we get a Captain America special presentation with Anthony Mackie? I don't know, on 4th of July.
Ah.
I don't know. It'd be cool. I don't have any other thoughts about Agatha. Do you have any final thoughts before we kind of give some Penguin
I think the
thoughts?
fact that they said Mephisto, I think he is coming for real this time.
Eventually, the third time's a charm, right? They
His
did say
name
his
was
name this time.
mentioned. So he exists in
We
the
know
MCU.
he's real.
They
He's
mentioned
real.
him. They didn't mention him like Batman or some fictional character. They mentioned him. He exists in this universe.
He's there.
He's
He
there.
does. We just don't know.
And I
They've
think
teased him so
he's
much. He's got to
Borat.
be showing up. I don't know.
There
He
weren't there
doesn't. What if?
rumors years ago it was
No.
Borat?
Okay. Hold on. Yes, there was that rumor. You're right. Because wasn't he was cast in this? Wasn't he? Or was that a
I
rumor?
don't
I
know.
thought I saw he was cast, but maybe he's not.
And I
But I'm
heard rumors
thinking
he's going to be in Ironheart.
maybe that's what it. Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. We've
And
got Blade that's never coming out. We've got
ugh,
Black Knight.
it's only going to be one.
We've got what if we did a midnight? We got Moon Knight. What if we did
Demon
Midnight
Mephisto.
Suns?
Oh, it's finally confirmed to exist in Marvel Cinematic Universe. Blah 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 blah. That's all it says
Okay,
via Screen Rant.
but what if you give Mephisto and a Midnight Suns team up like series?
With
That's a
Blade,
good way. Well, it could be a good way to get Blade since that movie's never going to actually happen. Then you also have Moon Knight who deserves to come back. And you get others like Kit Harington was Black Knight or whatever. Like bring him back in from Eternals. There's three right there. And then Jennifer, what if she comes in? She could be a Midnight Sun. She's related to Ghost Rider. Boom, there's Ghost Rider. That's a good way to introduce Ghost Rider right there. Midnight Suns fighting Mephisto. It just makes sense.
and where's Ted? We haven't seen Man Thing since.
There's again right there. Ted and Werewolf by Night. They all battle Mephisto. Right there's your team. There's your team.
Seemed like such a good Man Thing.
He was.
All right, so
it is. All right.
Penguin predictions.
Where we left off, they took Penguin's mom. Sophia has him. And obviously, spoilers 3, 2, 1. If you haven't watched Penguin, you're still here. Finale this week. We kind of been talking about it loosely, not too much. We'll probably do like a whole season recap like we did with Agatha, even though we really recapped the final 2 episodes. But we'll probably do like a proper Penguin next week. So yeah, dude, like Sophia has the mom. She's finally figuring out Penguin. It was dark. He ended up killing his brothers. His mom means a lot. The bomb. Sophia blows up the operation. Salvatore Marone is dead now. Vic
That
is
was
going to get his
lucky.
army. Yeah, jeez.
Shout out to Tom Clancy though. In the past like 2 years,
That's
we've
Clancy
seen him in
Brown, not Tom Clancy.
Dexter.
Tom Clancy does Rainbow Six.
He's an author, isn't he?
Clancy Brown is
Clancy
the
Brown.
what you're looking for. Yes.
We've seen him in Dexter New Blood. We've seen him in The Boys. We've seen him in
He's
Ahsoka.
everywhere.
We've seen him in this, and he's kills it in all these roles.
Does.
And he plays such a great bad guy and such a great good guy. Because like he's a good guy in Ahsoka. And I was so excited to see him in Ahsoka because it was just such a good just bringing those cartoons into real
No,
life.
he's stellar. Like anytime he's in something, like you're gonna get quality from Clancy. Yeah, I love him a lot. And he did great as Salvatore. Yeah,
Mhm.
Penguin got really lucky that he ended up having a heart attack and died. Like I
He's
thought
like,
that
"What are you
whole
doing?
reaction.
Get up!"
Wait, he's so
He's like, "I
confused. He was like,
won!" And then he still shoots him.
well, I mean, you gotta put bullets in them so people don't think that you only won because you died of a heart attack. Like you gotta, I don't know. But it was clever. It was funny. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, this show is awesome, amazing. My finale prediction: Vic shows up with the army, since and this is going to end.
I think so
Hopefully,
too, yeah. I don't think Vic abandoned him.
I don't think Sophia dies. I think they think she's dead and she gets away and escapes the country or Gotham. I think this ends with Penguin having control, like he has always wanted the power of the city. Vic's his number one guy, and I think at this point, since it's going to kind of lead into the events of the Batman, I have this feeling we're not going to get the Batman like an appearance, but I think we're going to get Penguin kind of looking up at a bat signal over Gotham City, because they have to mention him somehow in some regard.
Yeah,
If
they
this
really
is,
haven't. They've mentioned the
yeah,
Riddler, they have not mentioned Batman at all.
I definitely feel like this is going to lead into the bat, like it's gonna go into the second movie. So I really hope we get some sort of mention of the Batman. They have to at this point. And now Penguin's a big guy and Batman knows of Penguin, so give me something here. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I think Vic and Sophia are the only people that have any morals in this show, which is very interesting to see. Like, I'm absolutely loving Sophia. I think she was brilliantly cast.
Oh yeah.
The way they make her seem like she's a villain, and she's not a villain at all. She just has so much trauma. She was used, abused, discarded by her family. But like, dude, when she killed the one guy, oh my god, her uncle, or no, it's her mom's cousin. Like, that was
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah,
But
bullets
like,
to the head, bang.
when I saw her with her cousin's daughter,
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
because she was gonna
"Please
go to
don't
the
kill her,
cops.
please."
Yeah.
But I thought no, not that, like, when I didn't know
Oh,
what she
oh, oh,
was
before she
doing,
gassed everybody. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, "If she kills this child, she is evil. They cannot do this. That
But
will
then
not make
she
her
has good
an
still. Yeah.
right, but that would not make her an ambiguous character anymore. That would make her
Fair.
very black and white evil." And then when I saw what she did, I was like, "Oh my god, I love her even more." And those giant eyes just portray this, like, level of innocence that, like, I think that she does have a level of innocence to her. There is definite innocence to her. Her childhood was ripped away when she found her mother hanging, like,
Yeah.
and then thrown into Arkham to become a villain. And I love her. She's fantastic. She's the best part of the show.
I agree. Amazing. And when her niece was going to go to the cops, she showed up and then
And she felt
was,
bad. She didn't threaten her.
yeah, her
She was
reaction afterward,
there
right?
for her.
It's
Yes.
that cycle of violence
Right.
that
Because
she
she
was really
realized
torn up about.
because she lost her mother young too, but the difference is Sophia had a good mother. This little girl did not, and she even said, she's like, "You're going to be better off." So I think she really does think, like, taking her out of this family, she's going to be better off because she won't be
Oh
raised in
yeah.
a mob family. But she knows it's, like, incredibly hard, and that was she killed that scene. She
She
did a good job.
absolutely, yeah, the emotions that were conveyed, like, and it
So
shows that
good.
she's a multifaceted character. It's not just, that's what I love. When you build your villains up where you're caring about them. We care about Oz. We
Again, I
care
don't think
about
she's a
Vic.
villain at all.
And she's a product of her environment, right?
I was
She very
literally
much
just thinking
is.
that exact term. Yes, but
She
she's
she grew up in this
trying
house. Yeah. She was trying to
to.
break the cycle, but like her family discarded her into Arkham Asylum. And now Oz found out, like, hey, pulled her kind of into this. Like he kind of sucked her into this whole thing, betrayed her, and she's pissed, rightfully so. And now you
Right.
almost even have like Dr. Rush playing her. I feel like he's not very genuine. He's kind of playing her to do his like sick, twisted stuff.
I don't know if he's playing her or if he just gets off
Probably
on it.
kind of both.
Maybe. But I do
Maybe.
think that he did have a level of, like, empathy towards her in the insane asylum,
Oh
but I
yeah.
also think he's just turned on by her, and I think he is just got all sorts of kinks, and she's the one to scratch that itch for him.
He's into some weird shit.
He's a weirdo in Luke Cage too. Like, he
He
just
he does
has
play
this,
weird
like,
characters, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he does a good job portraying him, but he plays very dark, borderline characters where it's like they're
Yeah.
not 100% evil, but they ain't good.
Also, I just want to say real quick, shout out to the actress who plays, Oz's mom. The way she like
Yeah.
flipped that switch to go from like talking to, oh, all of a sudden she's like flashback. She thinks she's talking to her sons. All that was incredible
Yeah.
acting. Oh my gosh. I think she's definitely dead though. She's toast. She's
Oh,
dying
I think
next
she's
episode.
dead too.
I think she dies too, and that's what pushes Oz over the edge to be that ruthless Batman Gotham villain that we're so kind of used to seeing in this
Right.
world of Batman, which would make sense. I think he genuinely cares for Vic. I think to a degree he does care for Sophia, but she's going to kill his mom, and that's going to set him over the edge. And there he is. That's going to be like your kingpin, so to speak, of Gotham until all these other characters come into play. If the Joker's already there, Riddler's kind of there, but depending who we bring in, maybe we're bringing the Court of Owls, whoever it might be. I think
Ooh,
that's going
that'd
to
be
lead into
cool.
that. I think a Court of
That'd
Owls would
be
make a lot of
really,
sense in this universe.
yeah. Because then it's like, oh, these mafia people didn't have any control over anything to begin with. They just think they do.
Exactly. And it's us. We've owned Gotham. We always will own Gotham. Like, I think that would make sense in this universe that Matt Reeves, and plus giving us the Court of Owls
And you
finally on the big screen. Like, that's dope.
and you already got Penguin working underground.
Yeah, he's underground. I hopefully we still get some Mr. Freeze action. I think we should, as much as I love Arnold and I love those movies, I think we deserve a rendition of Mr. Freeze. I do kind of hope we get some other characters, but I would love to see the Court of Owls in the next Batman movie or the trilogy. It's a trilogy, so maybe the third movie we get them. But I feel like you got to build them up over a couple movies, like start it in 2, and then kind of maybe they do cliffhanger, and then in movie 3 is where everything wraps up. But we'll see, I guess. That's my predictions for the Penguin. We'll talk about it again. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up the episode?
No, I think you actually hit them all on the head. I feel like there's got to be some sort of nod to the Batman, and I think Oz's mom's going to die. And I think Vic is going to come back.
Vic, man, I love him. Great actor. Another stellar dude. I would love to see
He
him
was in
more
Runaways.
things. Oh, I didn't even realize, but I think you mentioned that before.
So he's part of the Marvel universe too.
Look at that, man. Walking between worlds. What a guy. That's all we have. So by all means, if you would love more, go ahead and make sure to like, subscribe, share, follow, hit the notification button. YouTube, we're everywhere. Share with a friend, all of that good stuff. Follow us on, Twitter. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stay there because of the current things, but Blue Sky, we're there. hopsgeeknews. You can find us on Threads, Instagram, YouTube, all under hopsgeeknews. Hit our link tree. You can find all of our things. If you want to come hop in the Discord, we're one big family talking about really just life. We got something for everybody in there. We're talking about life. And shout out to Patrick again. The beer was wicked good, man. Thank you so much. This beer of the week is brought to you by Patrick Home Brewing, the best for us. And that's what family's all about, man. You can come in, you can talk about anything. You don't even have to drink. You can come in and talk about your Starbucks, your Dunks, man, because I'm always in there. But thanks everybody for hanging out. We will see you guys next week. Bid you adieu.